Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and this is day 45 of my making 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on gratitude. So, yay, I made it to day 45. Yay, I'm so happy. And I saw a comment today about my hair from yesterday, and no, in answer to that, I did not dye my hair. It's because I had the blinds open and the sun was shining. So I'm like, yay, all of my silver sparklies are showing and it makes my hair look lighter. It looks kind of cool. However, it's not dyed. It's just showing my age with my little silver sparklies because I will call them silver sparklies because I refuse to say that I have gray hair. That and they kind of sparkle when the sun hits them, as you could see from my YouTube video yesterday. So, yes, I have silver sparklies that usually hide in my hair, and yesterday when it was all down and freshly washed and the sun was shining, that's all you could see apparently. So it made it look like my hair was dyed. Anyway, I'm grateful for the compliment or the comment or whatever you want to call it. I'm grateful to know that there are a few people that are watching these videos, and I'm hoping that they are inspiring and helpful to other people and not just me rambling and sharing. And I am still have a little bit of a migraine. Those suckers always last for 2 or 3 days. And of course, the weather outside and the monsoony weather is not helping any whatsoever. But I'm grateful that I can still do things in spite of that. And I'm grateful that I can continue to do these gratitude videos, and that by reading my scriptures and meditationals and doing these gratitude videos, it helps my mood and I instantly feel better. I feel like I have God backing me up, supporting me. I have His Spirit with me to get me through this day. I have this focus. My brain is focused on gratitude, and it makes the rest of my day focused on gratitude. And I'm grateful for that. And I went and talked to my bishop tonight. I wasn't in trouble. I just went to talk to him, and just kind of a checking in, how's it going, that sort of a thing, kind of fun. And just a nice reminder that I'm on the right track and I'm doing lots of good, positive things. And my friend said the same thing to me when I was hanging out with her on Sunday. And I said, yes, I'm trying. I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to do that. She's like, you're not trying, you're doing. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Oh, I am doing it. I am doing it. I am on day 45. I have done 44 videos. This will be 45 in a row, which is amazing for me because I was so nervous the first one of these that I did, and I still don't like watching myself do these. And I still get a little bit nervous, but I actually kind of look forward to it a little bit more now because I know that once I do it, I'm in a better mood because I have to talk about things that I'm grateful for and things that I'm working on. And it helps me to focus on what I'm doing, and it makes me feel good about what I'm doing and good about the process that I'm going through. And it kind of, overshadows the negative. The negative stuff doesn't matter. It doesn't weigh as much when the positive is around, and the positive is much lighter. And so it's that process of changing my brain thought waves, chemistry, whatever. I don't know that I can do that with just positive thinking, but I know that it helps to have positive thinking. I know that it helps to look for positive things. And I'm grateful that I can do that. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to make these videos. I'm excited about hopefully getting responses back from my book and getting my book published. I met with my friend last night, and so we have some ideas on how to do my book cover. So I'm going to meet with her again this weekend. So I'm excited about that. And of course, now I have new ideas and other things that I don't want to do. I don't know if this happens to anyone else or if it just happens to me, but sometimes I get inspiration or I get ideas of things that I need to do, and I throw a tantrum. I do a little stomping my feet, and I'm like, oh, come on, are you kidding me? Seriously, I got to do this too? I don't want to add anything else to my to-do list. And I don't think God's telling me to add something to my to-do list. I think He's telling me to replace this with something else that's not as important, or that I do have the time to do this, and He'll help me. So I don't know if it was a mistake. I say I made the mistake, but maybe it wasn't. I shared with my bishop my mantra that I am capable of more than I give myself credit for. And that's just like a spiritual revelation, something I think God just put in my head to help me when I'm struggling, to remind myself that I am capable of more than I give myself credit for. So when I'm struggling, when I want to give up, when I don't want to do whatever, that stupid little thought plays in my head. And yes, I called it stupid. Um, I know maybe it's not really stupid, but I'm very stubborn, and I have a tendency to dig my heels in when other people tell me what to do. And sadly, that includes when I feel like I'm getting inspiration and I don't want to do something or I don't want to change. And oftentimes, when that thought pops into my head, it's because I need to change something and I don't want to. But I think God knows that I'm ready to, or that I'm capable of doing it. I just need to let myself do it. And that's scary. Change is scary. Change is hard. It is not an overnight process. Just like this whole thing is not an overnight process. And I'm having one of those good days where I'm grateful I'm doing a video instead of one of those days like, oh, great, I got to do my video. But I'm not going to give up. And I'm selfish. That's my reason for not giving up, because I want to see what it's like when I actually accomplish 100 days in a row of doing YouTube videos, because I don't want to give up on myself. I want to feel like I can accomplish something regardless of what anybody else says. And I don't want to feel disappointed and discouraged, because I'm afraid if I give up that I'm going to spiral down back into this horrible place of negativity that I've been in. And I don't like that place and I don't want to go back to that place. So I am doing these videos because I don't want to go back to that place. I want to accomplish something. And I know as I continue to do this that I will feel that, and it will feel amazing and it will feel great. But I still struggle with it some days, and I still have my little tantrums because I don't want to do things. And I know God gives me these little promptings and inspirations and this mantra to help me to remember that I can do things, that I am capable of doing more than I give myself credit for. See, it just comes out whether I want it to or not. So when something else gets added to my plate, it's not something that I thought of, or maybe it's something that I'm fighting and I need to stop fighting, because when I stop fighting it, it comes rather easily. Like with my writing, when I sit down and journal, I let myself just journal. It just flows and all kinds of things come out and I process things and I've discovered things didn't even realize I was thinking about or being triggered by. So it's a process. And I know the same is true when I write my stories. And I think I've mentioned in previous ones that I'm nervous about writing later books because it parallels with my life a little bit in my fantasy versions of my life. Exaggerated fantasy versions, obviously, not reality, because nothing in my head is reality, I'm sure. So tonight, my bishop challenged me to write a book about my spiritual lessons in life, and not a fantasy fiction book, but a nonfiction, actual lessons, experiences that I've had in my life. And then he's like, he just wants credit for the title. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to dedicate it to him if I write it. So, and then of course, after that, I mean, I'm just all joking aside. I thought, okay, we're just joking. But then of course, like this windows of heaven thing, not that it actually opened up, but like my mind just opened up and all these little ideas just start popping into my head, and memories of spiritual experiences and conference talks and things that I could write and do. And I'm like, oh crap, now I gotta write another book. And I'm sure that's the wrong attitude. That's the wrong response. But that is my response. That is an honest response. You know, I'm not going to say it's the wrong response. I'm going to say it's an honest response. Because honestly, that is not something I'm 100% comfortable doing. It is more comfortable for me to write a fantasy version of something, to make things up, to have it be someone else than to have it be me. So, that will be interesting if I choose to actually write that book, which I have a feeling I'm going to have to do, because I don't think the ideas in my head are going to stop until I do it. New book. I should be excited about writing a new book, and I know that it will bring me closer to the Savior and to the Spirit, and it will just be a walk down memory lane, and maybe sad sometimes, and maybe happy, and mostly just a way to see how much God has loved me and protected me and supported me throughout my entire life. And I just want anyone that's watching this to know that I know that He doesn't do that just for me. He's done that for each one of you. And if you look for His hand in your life, if you look for the blessings throughout your life, even in the hard, scary times, remember that poem, I don't remember it, the Walk in the Sand poem about the man who looks back over his life, and in the hardest times he sees one set of footprints, and he asks God about it. And He says, "Oh, my son, it was in those times that I carried you." And I know that that is true. And I'm sorry, I get really emotional sometimes. Really. Yeah, tired, have a headache. I'm gonna blame it on that. I don't like being emotional, but it's part of life. It's also something that I'm learning, that I have to process these feelings, and in part of processing feelings and letting things go so that I can be happy, so that I can enjoy the good things, I have to let myself cry, and I have to let myself feel, and I have to remember that it's not bad. It's not bad to feel frustrated with things in life, because life can be frustrating. And it's not bad to cry. It's not bad to be disappointed. There's not good and bad feelings. There's just feelings. I just have a choice as to how to process them. I have a choice as to whether or not I let my feelings control my life, whether or not I let my feelings control my attitude. Those are choices I have. And in the past, I've chosen to let my feelings control my attitude, or I've chosen to bury my feelings and just had a bad attitude. And I'm trying right now to choose to have a positive attitude, and I'm trying to learn how to feel my feelings without being afraid of my feelings, without feeling like I'm this horrible person for having feelings. I know I shouldn't feel like a horrible person for having feelings, because everybody has feelings. Everybody needs to remember that everybody has feelings, and everybody's feelings are different, and everybody reacts differently to different feelings, to the same situations. And it's hard, it's very hard. And everybody, there's this lesson that I was reading about boiling an egg and a potato in water, and the potato is hard when it goes in, and the egg is soft, or the inside, they're runny and whatever. If you were to crack it open, it'd be runny, but it's not. So you put them in there and you boil them, and when they come out, the potato is soft and the egg is hard. And people are like that sometimes, the same experience, and they respond differently. And I was sharing that with my bishop tonight, and he was telling me I'm the potato, and I'm like, great, I'm the potato. And of course he told me that's a good thing, because it means when I go through trials and struggles that I get softened and I turn to God, because I know that that is the way out. I know that that is the best source of help and comfort that exists in this life. And I don't get hardened like the egg. I like hard-boiled eggs. I also like cooked potatoes, so both are good to me. But yeah, I do know that there have been times in my life when I felt hardened and thought that I would turn away, but eventually I come back, because I know that it works. And I feel sad for the people that choose to harden their hearts, that are missing out on the blessings and the gifts that God has to offer, because they feel like they have to rely on the arm of flesh, because they can't see past their pain. They can't see that anyone else understands or can help them, and they think they have to do it all on their own. And that is so sad. Or they think that they've done everything on their own, and they're not giving credit to God for the gifts that He's given them and blessed them with. And it makes them think they're better than everyone else for whatever reason. I don't know. Or they're bitter and angry because their life is worse off than it should have been. And the reality is, it doesn't matter, like, the physical circumstances. What matters is what's in our heart, what's in our soul. What matters is whether or not we use the talents that God has blessed us with, and if we use them to bless the lives of other people. Because as we use them, as we develop them and share them, then we get more blessings in return for sharing them. And so that's what I'm trying to learn how to do. And that is why, even though I don't want to, I will probably look into writing a book about my spiritual experiences in this life. And I don't know if it's going to be a short little pamphlet thing, if it's going to be like a long talk, because I did do a YouTube video about a talk I gave in church once, or if it's going to be like a full-size book like my other books. So that is something that is yet to be determined, and it also means that I'm going to have to look up talks and references and go back to the good old days of writing English papers where you actually have to, put references in the back of the book and put little footnotes saying what reference it is for and all of those things that I suck at. But if I'm going to put quotes in my books, or reference things, then I need to put the actual reference at the bottom so people can see what was referenced and how it was referenced. And I hope maybe that there's some editors or someone out there that can help me figure out how to do that if I choose to do this route with this book. Because I feel like if I'm going to go through the effort of writing it, then I should share it, because that's the whole point of doing it. Because otherwise, what's the point of doing it if not to share it, if not to bless the lives of other people? And I am hoping that when my books get published, that they will bless the lives of other people, even if it's just, entertainment for a few hours, or allows them into my little fantasy world for a few minutes so they can escape theirs, because that's what I've done my whole life. So I hope that that would be beneficial too. And okay, that creepy music in the background is my noisy neighbors. It's not me. I'm not playing music on here, and maybe nobody else hears it but me. So I apologize if I distracted everyone with that. I'm obviously easily distracted. So there you go. Now you're learning more crazy, annoying things about me. But I am grateful that I can do these videos, and I hope that they're helpful to you, and that you can find some strength and comfort, and that you can find some things to focus on that you're grateful for, and see God's hands in your life, because it's there. You just have to be willing to look up, and God is there. He's always been there, and he will always be there. And I am grateful for that. And I am grateful for a wonderful bishop to remind me of things like that tonight. And I'm grateful to be able to do these YouTube videos. And I'm grateful to be able to do things in spite of how I feel. It kind of solidifies that feelings aren't facts, and that I can do things in spite of how I feel. And that oftentimes by doing things, I feel better. Just by doing these videos, I feel better because I'm focusing on gratitude, and because I'm doing something for myself, and I'm fulfilling a goal that I have set. And it feels good to do that. So I hope you guys can find things that make you feel good to do, and that also maybe will in some way benefit other people. And if nothing else, I hope that you're happy and have a day full of gratitude. So thank you. Have a great day.